Hello, welcome to Afropreneur Without Borders live interview. Tonight I have with me a lady who is in Adelaide by the name of Sandra Moyo. Sandra, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hi, everyone.
How are you today?
Yeah, good, good. Just tired. Just had a long day in the office, but yeah,
All
getting
right,
there.
well, long day in office. That's where obviously you get things done and you get the money coming in, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
All right, Sandra, thank you very much for giving your time to the Afropreneur Without Borders show. We're going to be talking about yourself as a business owner. We'll also talk about the Afropreneur Summit Australia that took place in Adelaide, where you are uh, living and operating as a business. And we'll also generally just talk about the entrepreneurship and business development within African Australian communities. Sandra, you are a businesswoman. You run a business in the healthcare industry in Adelaide. What led you to get into business?
Well, okay, where do I start? First of all, yeah, as Clyde has already introduced, my name is Sandra. I'm an occupational therapist in Adelaide. So I guess what I can say is, entrepreneurship is kind of always, been family. My mother always had something to do with multiple streams of income coming in informally. And so I think growing up, we're always selling wares and stuff. And so I think from the very first day I my foot in class at uni, I told myself that I want to start my own business. And I've always wanted that autonomy. I've always wanted to create healthcare spaces. I guess I've always wanted to create an environment that's the opposite of what I've experienced, since being in Australia.
Okay, so how's business going right now?
Yeah, good, good. Really good. We've grown far much better than we thought, I think. It's just that sometimes when you start, it's like those teething issues where you're trying to find clients, find your balance, prove yourself, and then you see one client, the other recommends word of mouth everywhere, and then before you know it, you've got a lot, and it's you just have to learn to kind of pace yourself as well. But yeah, business is growing really well. We've got two clinics now. So I started off with one in Prospect for those who know Adelaide. It's and the other one is more northern, which is where most of our clients are. So two clinics and some occupational therapists and some physios and some therapy assistants and psychologists as well.
So your business is called Zuva Allied
Zuva,
Health.
yeah.
Describe to us what exactly you do, what services you provide.
Yeah, so Zua, first of all, for those who are, it's a Shona name, it means the sun, or also it can mean a new day. So Zuva provides allied health services, and that is occupational therapy. I'm an occupational therapist, as mentioned before, physiotherapy, therapy assistance, and psychology. We are hoping to provide speech pathology because it's one of the services that our clients really need. But speech pathologists, just like occupational therapists, are gold. We cannot find one, but that's the plan.
Okay, so and how long have you been doing this? How long has your business been operating?
So business was registered in August 2020 and then kind of officially probably saw my first client in 2021 March.
Okay, and
Yeah.
when you walk us through when you actually decided to go into business, as opposed to just being an occupational therapist employed somewhere. How long did it take for you to make that decision to plan and to start the business?
Wow. Okay. This is gonna sound ridiculous. I think I'm more of I dive in and then I figure it out once I'm in there. Once I'm in the pool. So like I said, ever since I started uni, I've kind of always wanted to start a business. So whenever I went on placement, I was observing, how things are run and all that sort of stuff. So when I finished uni, I gave myself a year as a new graduate just to learn the ropes and kind of have that graduate program. But because I was a mature age student anyway and had a bit of experience in allied health field, I was able to catch on fast. So I just had only 1 year, and towards that end of 1 year I just sold everything. I was in all circles then, sold everything I had, and just decided that nah, I'm going to move to Adelaide to start a business, because Adelaide was a much bigger city than Albury, and I felt like it would expand a little bit better. So I honestly, I feel like I am. It included a lot of risk taking, let me put it that way, because I didn't have a job. I resigned from my job and just packed everything, and I had a child, and just thought, nah, let me go. I'll figure it out when I get there. So I think my profession, it was mostly my expertise as a professional, and just having a laptop and advertising and going to networking events, and that was pretty much it. A lot of the stuff just came as I went, and meeting people and learning as I went. Sorry, yeah.
So it didn't take long at all. You sort of just decided you want to dive into. You didn't want to give yourself a bit of experience
No,
as an employee. None of that.
no.
Just gotta get into it.
That 1 year was too long, believe me. I just felt like, I think when we procrastinate, be it positive or negative, it's like you sort of slow yourself down. So I had to make, one of the things that influenced my decision was my son was gonna start year reception in 2021. So I had to make a decision whether I stay in Albury and he starts school, and then that will delay me more, or I make the decision straight away and get him to start school in Adelaide. So I just had to go for it.
Okay. Well, and was it hard? Was it difficult? Because we know that when you decide to go from paid employment into a business, you're both excited and scared. Excited because you want to start something, and scared because
Yeah,
you really don't know what's going to happen. Things might
yeah,
not work out as you want. What were
yeah.
your feelings in that specific sort of time in the early days of the business?
Um, well, you know what? It was scary, but I always tell myself to do it afraid.
Hmm.
That's what I've always been taught. So on the outside, it's like this brave face, but on the inside, it's like, what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't work? So I had a backup plan that, I'll apply for jobs if it doesn't work out. But at the same time, I didn't want to accept that it's not going to work out. So initially, when you're starting a business, you are,
Just before you go on, Sandra, we're getting some comments from our viewers that your sound is still echoing. Maybe
okay.
maybe if you just disconnect your headphone, I don't know if that is
Okay.
connected. That could be the problem. You should still be able to hear from your laptop. Sometimes it could
Yeah.
be the headphone. And Tino, you made that mention. See if it makes any difference if you can hear Sandra a bit better now. No, no, we can't. Okay, we've lost your sound. Okay.
Is it better now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I was not hearing the echo, but I'm just thinking maybe,
That's
obviously, one of the viewer mentioned that, and I think it should be fun. But Tino, if you're still watching, tell us if you can hear the echo. But continue, Sandra. You were talking about you okay with your connection?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. If it's still, and I think I did get a message as well that it's echoing. So just let me know if it is. It's echoing on my end. But
Actually, what you need to do, bring the sound of your computer very, very down.
Okay.
Your laptop. Sometimes that could cause that as well.
Is that better?
It should be. If you can still hear us, and if
I
your
can,
sound, okay,
but
all right,
somebody's just messaged that it's still echoing. So
still have echo. Okay, did you bring the sound of your laptop? Very. You brought it down
yeah, I've turned it
significantly.
very low.
Okay,
Okay.
sometimes technology has its issues, and
Yeah.
we can't really work out what is causing that echo. But actually, let me just See if I no,
Because
there's nothing from here.
I've got eco cancellation on my oh, somebody's saying I should check if I'm connected on my phone.
Yeah, you might be.
I don't think I did connect. I just went straight to the laptop. Sorry, guys.
No, that's okay. Yeah, and everyone else. We got Joyce. Joyce, if you can put yourself on mute, I think see. Let me see if I can mute you from here because sometimes those who are um from the
I'm just gonna
studio.
get my earpods and see if it's better.
Okay. We apologize for this incident. For those who are watching, technology, as you know, it's good when it works.
Sorry.
Sometimes it doesn't work at all. We hope to be able to resume the interview soon. Okay, Sandra, you can still hear us?
Yes, I can.
All right. Guys, you let us know through the comments if it's still echoing. Other than that, uh, just give me one more thing I'll do to minimize that. See if it works from here. Device. Okay. Okay. All right. We will continue from now, and sorry if the echo continues, but do let us know. It must be the laptop or she's connected live on any of her gadgets. Okay.
I've
And
turned
did
them off.
you turn them off? And you're not sure? You sure you haven't connected on two separate pages as well? Sometimes it does that on your laptop. Maybe you open the link twice.
Actually, maybe. Let me see.
Just leave one page connected and close all the other pages.
Okay. Let me exit and enter.
All right. Again, we apologize for this interruption due to technical difficulties. We hope to be able to resume very soon as Sandra tries to resolve her issue with the sound. In the meantime, let's just put some of Sandra's. Okay, she's back in. All right. We will continue the interview. I suppose if it doesn't get fixed, people will just have to tolerate the echo because there's not much else that we can do at this point in time. So, getting back to the question you were asking in the early days of the business, where most of us who've been sort of in that situation, we're both scared and excited because obviously we're starting something new that can change our lives and take us to really higher places, and also scared because in business there's nothing that is guaranteed. You may plan very well, you may have everything you think you need, and then reality could be different and the income may not necessarily materialize. So in those days, Sandra, what were your feelings and how did you overcome, and how fast did it go until you started seeing the income flowing in?
Let me say, I will also try to connect with my phone because when I logged in, it said internet is better than Wi-Fi. So I don't know whether that's the reason. I'll just try and change that and see if it works in case if I freeze.
Okay. You want to connect with your phone?
Yeah. That's what it said. So I don't know whether that's gonna change things or not. If not, that's fine. I'll just continue anyway.
Yeah, I think just continue. That's fine. I mean, if there's the echo that we can't get rid of, we apologize, but sometimes there's just very little that can be done with technological things. At least people can still hear you, I'm assuming, even though it may not be the most comfortable sound because of the echo.
Can you hear me?
Tino says,
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Me, I don't hear that echo much from this end. So,
All right.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I was saying it was quite scary, like I was saying, because you're just starting out to start with. You're an immigrant, you're new in the city. We all know that we don't have that privilege. You know, you have to prove yourself. You have to work double the amount of what other people would work in order to prove yourself that you can do the work. So I remember the whole of January, February, March, all I did was walk around and distribute business cards. And I always say this to people, it's great to have business cards, but sometimes they may mean nothing because people
Mm.
just take that and the next thing is they know they don't open it.
Yeah.
It is only after I started networking that I started receiving the first clients.
Okay.
So I would say 3 months of a bit of a dry season. And then once the clients started coming in, once I networked, I introduced myself, I went there, so my people connect to somebody that they have seen.
Okay. And you mentioned
So
something
from
important
that
there.
time, everything just turned up.
That's right. You mentioned something important there about networking. You studied networking. How much difference did that make, and what do you think really made that difference in that networking activity?
Sorry, could you ask that again? The first beats were a little bit muffly.
Yeah, you mentioned that you didn't notice much difference until you started networking. So I wanted to know, can you hear me better? No? Sound is no good. Sandra, can you hear me? I think you're now frozen on the screen. You can hear me?
Am I? Yes, I can.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So networking made a bit of a difference. You mentioned.
Mhm.
What exactly were you doing, and how do you think that made? What exactly is that that made that difference?
Yeah. I remember vividly. It was in 2021. I think it must have been late February, early March. Randomly, I just got an email that there was social work day. It was just an open invitation. And then I thought, yeah, I'm just gonna go. And little did I know the person that was owning the company is also African. And she also owned an NDS business. And nobody turned up for that event in terms of the professional people. It was just clients, the staff,
Mm-hmm.
and myself. So you can imagine, I had like 10 staff members all wanting to know what I do. So I'm still grateful that day that nobody else turned up because I was able to sell myself. And
Yeah.
it just showed me how much people don't realize how powerful networking is. The other thing that I did is in my community, when I got here, the Zimbabwean community, I'm from Zimbabwe originally, and we had a ladies gala that was coming up, and they said, do people want to help? I put my hand up, not because I had a lot of time, but I knew that was my opportunity.
To meet more
And
people.
I remember, yes, and I remember asking, is there sponsorship opportunities? I didn't, to be honest, I think in my account at that time, it was probably less than $500. And here I am asking about sponsorship. And because it was a community event, they said, oh, you know, any business, you can pay $50 and we advertise. I was like, I'm paying it. And I say, do you have an MC? And they said, no. I said, I'll do it. And I said, the guests that are coming, do they have gifts? And they said, no. And I said, there's $50 baskets or whatever from Kmart. What do you call it? That basket that is little goodies. Yeah. That
Yeah.
thing, I said, they're $50. And if we have 3 or 4 guests, I'm going to buy it. I have $500 in my account. So the only thing I had 500 was 500 and 4 sites. So come the day of the event, man, I went all out. I was acknowledging sponsors every 5 minutes because I had the microphone. And each time a guest received, and by the end of that event, 100 something people, they now know there's Suva. What is this Suva? By Monday, I was getting phone calls left, right, and center.
Wow.
Yeah, and then with time also, I was like, no, I still need, to kind of be known and sell myself a bit more. They're not gonna stop here. So I decided to connect with a few African women that I knew that were in business. Where the first breakfast I organized that would turn out, and then I was like, all right, let's do dinner. So we did a lot of networking events, and in all those events, I was marketing myself.
That's good.
And then started getting involved in all other, marketing events as well. So even now, I feel like, yes, the business is kind of not in Adelaide, but I'm not stopping because, I always believe Coca-Cola didn't stop advertising. Everybody knows about it. They still advertise today. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, I guess I always put my hand up for any opportunity to network.
Yeah, absolutely. Networking is definitely important. Let me just now let's talk about. I mean, the networking thing brings us to what we actually do at as part of the Afropreneur Summit Australia platform, which is the entity behind this specific show, the Afropreneur Without Borders, which is also a networking platform. We organized a summit a few weeks back on the 20th of June, and you attended that summit, given that you are one of the African Australian entrepreneur in the city of Adelaide and South Australia. Give us your overall view of how you saw that summit, and what sort of value you give to it for someone like yourself who is in business.
Look, I'll be honest, it was great. And I'm not only saying that because you're here and as a pioneer, but this is something that when I started the African Women in Business, it's pretty much similar, where it's like, guys, let's come together. We are immigrants. We need, there's power in numbers. We need to come together and know what resources are out there. Don't feel lost. Come. If there's one thing that I would love to see is African entrepreneurs owning large businesses, not small businesses. Like this small and medium business. I don't like it. I want to see big, you know what I mean? Like, you go to a mall, you say that mall is owned by 10 Africans. That's me. That's my dream. And my dreams scare me. But anyway, so I think that was a great platform. I saw people come out of their shell. And these are people that I know, that I've seen, and they felt it was a safe space, ask questions, to learn, and to even hear from people of the same origin, of the same color, who are sitting here saying, we've done it, we have done it, we can do it too. So I find it was great, even for networking. I probably knew 3/4 of the people there, but even the other ones that we knew, there were so many connections that happened on that day that you have no idea. Even now, when I talk to people, they're like, oh, I met this person, we've never met, I'm having a meeting, I'm seeing it happening, because some of the connections are also happening in our African women group. So I think it was great. I absolutely enjoyed myself, and I will be attending one in Sydney as well. So that just goes to show how much it was for it. Yeah, it was great. It was a great platform to network and learn as well.
Absolutely. All right. Now, looking at things more broadly, what are some of the things you believe that affect the entrepreneurship development within African Australian community, both from your own experience as well as what you see more broadly in the community?
Number one, I think it's fear. Because I remember when I was telling people that I want to move and start a business, and I was selling everything and I didn't have a job. I think some people thought I was crazy. If I wasn't very strong-willed, I probably would not have done it. And don't get me wrong, they were coming from a place of love, a place of worry that, are you going to be okay? And so I think that fear of the unknown stops us. And whereas for me, I'm like, coming from Africa to here is the greatest move. So anything that happens within this country is nothing. The other thing I feel we kind of are divided. We keep to ourselves. I've spoken to a lot of people who come to me started a business, my business is growing, can you help me? The reason people have seen how people have grown, and they are wondering, this person we didn't know her, she just came to Adelaide, and now, it's happening. So they want to know and learn. Often I always say, look, network, connect with people. You've opened your business in a cave. You don't even know your business. You don't see it anymore. You don't talk to anybody. So I don't know whether culturally is that, oh, I'm gonna withhold my information in case Clyde takes it and acts on it or takes my business or bewitches me. I don't know what it is, but I feel there's that separation that people prefer to just do things quietly. But then you don't grow. You kind of stay in your corner. And naturally, I think we're not really good at helping each other and coming together as a community, as a community, as a continent, as a community, whatever. My office is in Prospect, and this 2 streets down is full of Lebanese and Afghanistan businesses and Lebanese. Man, when you walk through, you feel like, and I always ask myself, how did these guys do it? How did these guys have Afghan supermarket, Afghan restaurant, Afghan, like the whole entire street is their businesses? Can Africans do that? I don't know.
Big question. A big question.
Yes. And this is why I've pushed, and sometimes I feel like I'm crazy. Like, am I crazy? Am I just building castles in the air? Am I just imagining things? I don't know. Because I've always wanted us to come together.
Yeah, and one thing that is interesting, we coming from Africa, we kind of come from that collective, society and collective mindset. But when we get here, that collective mindset doesn't appear to persist for the most important things in our lives. We still, to some degrees, we go to church together, we have entertainment together, many of our cultural activities are very well attended. But when it comes to business, it's a totally different ball of game. Why do you think this is the case? Is this just that fear, or what? I'm interested to hear your take on this.
I think from experience, I feel like, and I'm sorry, I'm just gonna call it as it is. From what I've seen, I don't want life to be better than me. If we are still on the same page, then it's okay. If you've realized a lot of the things we come together for funerals. In my culture, man, if there's a funeral, even people that you've never seen, the street is like everyone is there. There's respect for the dead more than those who are alive. And it's interesting because even when we do events, whether it's networking, very few people come in. If it's other things like, oh, it's just a party, it's a funeral, it's a whatever. So socially, I think what you're saying is more from that social background, social structure and all. But when it comes to that economic side, economic development, I feel like, I don't know whether it's something that we were not taught in school. Or at home, because they say charity begins at home.
Yes.
I'm not understanding where the competition is coming from, because we are very competitive in nature. People will not celebrate you. You'll be celebrated by people from other cultures. Yet, other cultures celebrate each other. But I've always told myself that, it starts with me. I can make a difference. I can be there. I've had lots of people I've had meetings with. I don't even charge. I will empower you. I will push you until you do it. Because my belief is that when you become better, you can also help me. Or help the next person. I've had people that, and I think some of my friends have joined, they're listening. I invited them specifically because they've seen my journey, and they have helped me when I had nothing. So they didn't feel like it's competition. They empowered. And I don't think when they were expecting that things are going to get here. But to get people like that now in the business section, you're just hitting a big hole there. But it's not that it won't happen.
And perhaps as we get towards the end of the show. I know these are really interesting subjects that deserve a lot more time than what we've got. We'll continue to address some of these things with on several platforms, both in terms of what we do during the summit as well as during the interviews where we share the experience. We get to hear from people like yourselves and others who share their experience. But I guess the question is, how do we start changing things so that there's more collaboration, there's more partnership, there's more support within our communities to lift ourselves economically? Because as you probably know it, we tend to rate pretty low on socio-economic ladder everywhere, and until we realize that this is a problem, then we actually need to get things happening. What would be some of the things you might suggest that are done to address this?
I think what you're doing already is the starting point. Just bringing people together and having these conversations can be an eye opener. When you came to Adelaide and we did the Afropreneur Summit, I remember I was moderating one of the workshops, and we were talking about these, experiences and stuff. And then I asked the question, I said, so what do you think will be the way forward? And I found people were still telling me their experiences until I read the question and I said, if you were in the same situation that you were, or somebody else came to you and they were in the same situation, what would you do? That's how the thinking changed, because the entire discussion was about, oh, people did this to me, people did this to me. So it was more, let's flip it around. If somebody came to you, they're students, they're this, they need help, or they're starting a business, what would you say? So what you're doing is amazing. People can only learn. I also liked that when we had the summit in Adelaide, we had a panel, youth panel. Let's get the youth. Let's involve the youth a lot more, because they are the ones that are going to change things. They are more, they research things, they question things, not like us,
That's
And
right.
I think they work together. I've seen even in church. You see the youth, they're all together, they're dancing. And the adults, you are not even talking to the person next to you. So I think that if we can get the youth more involved, because that will change generations and generations to come. Because for us, we are already old dogs and it will take a very long time. But I would say having these conversations, networking, showing people what other people are doing. To be honest, if you were in a room full of 100 people and you're preaching this, whatever we are talking about, I'm sure 20 people would make a difference. And with those 20, that is how we spread out.
Absolutely. Well, we all have a role to play in changing the situation, because we realize that we have to. I mean, nobody's going to change our situation until and unless we actually decide that we have to take action. I was speaking with someone recently who was telling me cows don't give milk. You have to milk them. So you have to go and get what you want. And whether we know there are a lot of support that is available even from government and other agencies in terms of small and medium businesses. And I like what you just said, Sandra. We shouldn't even have that as an M, small, medium. We want to go on the top there.
Every day I have to tell myself that it's okay, it's a starting point, but honestly, the pride I feel when I see my people making it.
You start from somewhere and you work hard, because most businesses that are started, unfortunately, within 24 months, within 2 years, they die. But if you put yourself into it, and the fact that we're talking here about connecting with other people who can help and who can assist, and if we have that mindset of working together to develop our businesses, then we can do better. Before we finish, just maybe last question: what would be your last words or some advice you would give to anyone watching who is inspired with your story, the fact that you only took 1 year after finishing your uni course to say, I'm going to go into business. It was something you decided even before you finish your studies, and then you went into it, and within a couple of years or so, you were able to lift your business high up there. What would you tell people about, what is the secret and how to go about it?
Yeah. I think to start with, I do understand that probably people have different beliefs here. I'm just going to talk about me. I think I did pray, and always, was the center of every decision that I made. So whatever people that you believe in, spiritually, that kind of gives you a bit of strength as well. And I would say, in terms of the more practical solutions, is doing great. Um, most of the times that people see us walking, walk into a room, you're a woman, you've got heels, you're looking great, man. Inside here, the brain is just, everything is just running. We're fear. What if this? What if that? So we all have the fear, we all have the anxiety, but naturally the physiology of it is to push us to act on certain things. So don't let that stop you, because it's fear of the unknown. So you say, what if it doesn't? What if it does? What if it actually does work? So I think follow your dreams, follow what you believe in. When you seek, this is very, very important. When you're seeking advice, know who you're seeking the advice from. Because if pride is afraid, he will advise you from a point of fear. If Mary is brave, she will advise you from that point as well. So a lot of dreams were killed because you shared them with people who didn't have the same vision. So even if your vision is scary, it's big, it's whatever, make sure that if you're sharing, if you're needing advice, go to people who have walked the path before, because they
Absolutely.
will
Well,
tell you.
definitely, that is a very good advice, Sandra. We thank you very much for your time to discuss the business and entrepreneurship development within African Australian communities. We know that you are doing great in Adelaide, and you've got the second clinic coming. Maybe third, fourth, and going to that major business. That we wish you really good luck in all of that. And one thing that we have all said here is that we got to work together as much as possible. And this is why we are building this community of entrepreneurs, people who want to make things happen, not just in the business sector. It can also be in the social sector. Entrepreneurship is about, making things happen, noble and valuable things that give value to society. And obviously, business is one of them. But we think that, in order for the mindset to change, we have to help each other. We have to bring more education, more connection, and more support. And this is all why we are doing this, to give opportunity for people to share their stories, their experience, and overall work together in whatever way we can. So thank you again for your time. We'll be having more opportunities in the future. We can even bring you back to talk maybe specifically on your industry, the healthcare industry, because one thing that I also want to mention quickly, when we did the summit in Adelaide, one thing I noticed is that, well, the girls in Adelaide, they run the show. The women, they are, we're trying to find
Yes, yeah. We
women
do that.
power
So and I know we're running out of time. There's just one thing that I want to say quickly. Let's all
Sure.
support each other. There are
Yes.
people that I provide as a reference to other people, thinking, oh, I'm just helping. And that turned around to help me in the end. So
That's
don't
good.
withhold information. If you can support somebody, support, empower, words of encouragement, connect them. And
Yes.
one good thing, obviously, it will come back to you as well.
Absolutely. Every good deed that we do is an investment that will certainly pay back at some stage. And when you do something good to someone, you actually put them in a position where they would feel that they kind of have to do something for you, because you don't do it because you expect anything, but in themselves, when somebody does something good to you, the next time around when they need you will be there, you'll help them. So this is why it's good to be in that network where we help and support each other, and that's why we are building all of this. So thank you very much, Sandra. We'll talk more about your healthcare industry in the next opportunity, as also the fact that there's more women entrepreneurship in Adelaide. We're trying to dig and find out what is the secret, so other states can learn as well. And I'm sure you can help with that. So until then, thank you, and have a great evening in Adelaide. All right,
No
folks,
problem.
that's all
Thank you.
for today. We thank you for watching this show. We apologize for the technical issues that we have been experiencing. We're trying to make sure next time it's much better. But as you know, sometimes technology just doesn't respond whatever way you do. And we encourage you to share, this video that you're watching. And if you are in business or even, active in some sort of social enterprise activity, we would encourage you to contact us, and we'll give you the opportunity to share what you are doing, because we're about educating, we're about connecting, and bringing opportunities for people to work together. And we would like to hear from you. Until next time, stay blessed, and bye-bye.